Hello, a very warm welcome to Happy Hands Knitting Podcast. My name is Nadine and I'm coming to you from an extremely hot day here in northern New South Wales, Australia, and I'm originally from Montreal, Canada. Funnily enough, I was just chatting to my best friend back in Montreal and she was saying that it's really hot there as well, and so it's really funny that this time of year sometimes we can have the same weather going on. Okay, this is a knitting podcast, and continuing on from last week, today is going to be another special episode all about the Mystery Knit Along 2025 by West Knits called Mystery MusiKAL, K-A-L for Knit Along. This is the second time that I've participated in a mystery knit along, full stop, by any designer whatsoever. And it's also the second time that I've knit a Stephen West pattern. I was just remembering, I think I did buy a pattern when I first started knitting from patterns. I think I bought a shawl from Stephen West. I started it and I just got so confused that I gave up. It was called the Herbivore shawl, I believe. I'll try to put a photo of here. I think it's called the Herbivore. I had never knit a shawl before, and I think it started with a tab, and I was just like, what is happening? I did not understand. I feel like there mustn't have been YouTube videos at the time, or I didn't know about them. So things have come a long way. The videos that accompany Stephen West clues are absolutely incredible. And if you've never knit a Stephen West pattern before, I highly recommend. Okay, so we are in the second week. This is Clue 2 has been put out 3 days ago. It's Saturday afternoon here in Australia. And I finished my Clue 1. I had finished it on time, and I had some issues which I'm going to be sharing about. And I'm on to Clue 2, and again I had issues. When I knit the shawlography, everything was so smooth. I didn't have to rip back anything, and I just feel like in the past week I've been ripping back so much, which is so unusual for me. But yeah, I'll chat all about that. Hopefully, if you're watching this, I can save you from making the same mistakes that I made. Yeah, so I'm gonna chat about that and a little bit about the shape of the shawl, a bit more about my colors, so stay tuned. Okay, here we go. Clue 1. Okay, spoiler alert, here comes the shawl. Okay, so if you're not familiar, if you haven't watched my previous videos, I'll just quickly show you the yarns that I'm using. One's on the floor. Oh, I forgot to talk about what I'm wearing. I'll just quickly, this is wrapped around me. Okay, this is just an improvised tank top that I knit out of BCGarn Lino. Yeah, it was improvised, and I'm wearing my Chanterelle pants that I made out of thrifted bedding. As per usual, they're so cozy, and I have so many pairs of Chanterelle pants. Okay, so here it comes. Here's where I'm at. This is the front, and this is the back. And I hadn't realized it at the time when I chose my colors, but it's so giving me peacock vibes. I guess the shape of it, you know, is adding to that because it kind of looks like a peacock, but especially on the back, I think it's so funny. Okay, I was gonna show you my yarn. Okay, so 3 of my yarns are from Wild Earth Yarns, and this is called, not Alpine. Sorry, I had to look it up. It's called Aspen, and it is 100%, it is 100% Polwarth, and let me tell you, it is absolutely the squishiest yarn I've ever felt. It is amazing, I love it, and it's kind of rustic, kind of like not itchy. It's really, really good quality yarn, I love it. Drama, if you go back and watch a few episodes ago, I did have a 4th color here that I had ordered in the color Mulberry. These are all jewel tone, but however, I accidentally ordered this one in an 8 ply, so that was a bit of a disaster. I tried to see if they had the 4 ply in the same color, but it was sold out. So in order to compensate, I had this Mondim sock yarn that was a pink color, and I tried to dye it that same color as a Mulberry, but I guess I put a little bit too much blue in it, so it's turned out this purple. And then I was kind of happy with with these colors, but I did feel, I showed them to my friend and he thought, oh, are you making something for a man? I was like, no. And I thought, oh, okay, I guess it does kind of give masculine. So I thought I would maybe try to add some of this pink every now and then. And I did not. In clue 1, I just had these colors, but lo and behold, in clue 2, I was able to use a pink. So I was very excited about that. So here you can see, that's the back. So I was kind of happy with the green being blended in with the blue here in the brioche, which as predicted, I don't think it's gonna open because of the welts, which are kind of preventing it, but that's okay with me. I like how it just peeps through a little bit. And yeah, I really like the green with the blue. And one of my viewers mentioned, because my last shawl, the shawlography, was kind of black, had black and orange in it, and I thought it was very Halloween. So she was saying, oh, what about the green and the purple? Isn't that Halloween too? And I was like, oh, she's right. So I'm gonna try to avoid putting the green beside the purple a lot. But yeah, I thought this was a perfect opportunity to use the pink. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna talk about that later. I'm meant to be talking about clue 1. Okay, so last time I chatted to you, I had done the scallop 1, 2, and 3, and I was about to do the 4th one. Everything was going so great, beautiful, beautiful. And then when it came to doing scallop number 5, I guess this is technically the most difficult one because you're connecting it on both sides, but that really wasn't the issue for me. Let me tell you, I think I reknit this scallop number 5 times. Ironic. But it was giving me so many problems, and it kind of all, I think in the end, was to do with the brioche. There's a little bit of a yarn over at the end of the row that somehow was giving me so many problems, and I was not having the right number, and I was just wanting to get it right. So I'd ripped it back so many times, and it's not fun ripping out something that is connected to something else, especially on both sides, because these stitches, you know, come loose as well. It was just such a nightmare. And finally, finally I got it right, and I was like, yes. And then when okay, at this point I should also mention, because with the brioche you had to use 2 needles, it was kind of together like this. And so I didn't notice, but when I'd finished it and got it right, I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, I had done it backwards. This one scallop was facing the other way. I could not believe it. So I ripped that out. And then something else, I think one of my scallops had 6 rows instead of 8. It was just such a nightmare. But anyways, I persevered, I got it. And then the 6th one was too easy. Like it knit up very quickly and flawlessly. So I was relieved about that. So that was all the drama that I had with clue 1. So yeah, just scallop number 5 was giving me problems. And now we're on to clue number 2. And I, as well as many people, were relieved to find out that it was going to be a lot longer rows and much less to look at. And so I was thinking, I'm not going to have any problems with this one. It's going to be easy peasy. I was wrong. Okay, I'll talk about that in a second. First of all, let's appreciate what's happening here. It's very, very cool. It's kind of, hi there. That's my dog. Hi, you good? Do you want to go outside? I'm just gonna let my dog outside. He didn't want to go outside. I don't know what's happening. Lie down. Lie down. You okay? I don't know what's happening. Okay, so where was I? Okay, the shape. How cool is it? And it's not only is it going along in this kind of wavy pattern, but it has short rows. So this side is shorter and this side is longer little sections here. So it's gonna, I did a little drawing because I thought it was so cool. Hang on a sec. So it's gonna give this kind of shape. So it's here, I didn't do the squiggles, but so it started, I thought it was gonna be just like a V shawl, but something strange is happening here where it's increasing on this side. So who knows where it's gonna go next. Yeah, never a dull moment, never predictable. Always fun. Okay, so what I was gonna say about this, oh, I forgot, oh no, it's right here. Okay, so what this was reminding me of, this wavy shape, is I had crocheted this blanket for my daughter when she was maybe about 4 years old, and she's 19, so maybe about 15 years ago. And this pattern is by Attic 24, and it's called the Neat Ripple. And so basically it's also like that wavy shape, and you're crocheting. In order to achieve the shape here, you're doing a knit 2 togethers and twice, crochet 2 together, crochet 2 together, and here you're doing increase, and that's what's giving the wavy shape. So my daughter chose those colors. She could not be talked out of it. Okay, so that's what I thought was going to be happening here. However, the short rows in the garter section, you just knit without any increases, except for on the one side. And when you do this lacy section, that's when you're doing those increases. And everything was going great. I'd completed the first, I think it's called squiggle, the first squiggle section, and then I knit the lace section. Then when I got back to the end, everything was good. I think I had the right, because you're doing knit 2 together, yarn over, and then the last one is knit 1. And that was all good. And then I started the purple section, the next ripple, and then something wasn't quite right here. I did not have the right number of stitches. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I messed up somewhere. So I ripped it all out. I ripped all the way back down to the top of these guys. And I started over and I counted it and everything seemed right. And then I started this lace section and then I was like, what is happening? And the numbers were not making any sense. I could not work it out. Finally, I realized that instead of looking at the third page, here it is. Instead of looking at the third page, somehow the fourth page was in front of me. So I was looking at the eyelet stripe 2 instead of eyelet stripe 1. And so I did the eyelet section wrong. It was not right. So I had to rip it all out because with this shape, it's really important. I'm gonna demonstrate with my blanket again. It's really important that you have the decreases and the increases in the right place, or else your wave is not gonna wave properly. So I just pulled it out, and yeah, I had to pull out the purple, pull out the lace, redo the lace with the right page, and then okay, that was all going great. I did the purple. And then I did the next section and I thought it was all going good, but somehow when I got to the end, there was not the knit 1 at the end. I ended with knit 2 together and I was like, oh no, something's gone awry. And he does have the stitch count on here, but not at the end of the second row. And I was like, are these stitches the same? I don't know, it was so confusing. And oh yeah, the other thing was, I think I did this also and I had to rip out because in the eyelet stripe, the first one, there's an extra makeover and that extra yarn over ends up making a 3-stitch difference. So maybe I think that was the issue with the first one. But the second one, I don't know what happened, but somehow it was not making any sense. So I ripped that back down to here, again. And I redid the purple section, and then when I did, it looked like I had the right amount of stitches, and then I did the lace section, got back again, and it was still wrong. And I was just like, am I losing my mind? What is happening? Why is this not working out? And I was so frustrated, but finally I said, you know, Stephen always says, say yes, don't stress. I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna pop in an extra stitch at the end. So what I did was I picked up a stitch here and I did another yarn over because I think I counted them and I was only 2 stitches short, so that's not the end of the world. So I picked up one, did a yarn over, and then I thought I'm just gonna keep going. And it worked out, thank goodness. I'm now back on track. I don't know what happened. I can't see that I've dropped any stitches. Who knows, but yeah, I'm not stressing. I'm just gonna keep moving on. And I'm very happy with how the colors are working out. So that was my color A. Then I added this new pink color And then I'm just gonna keep striping these. I'm back at the blue. Keep striping these 3 as I go. I'm not gonna put any of this green in this section. And hopefully it's gonna be able to work itself into the next section all right and not be too clashy. Very, very cool. I'm loving it. Here's the back again. My little peacock. So yeah, I feel like so far it's quite reversible. I feel the shawlography shawl has some sections that are reversible, but most of it is not very reversible. Okay, back to talking about the ends. Last week I shared that you can hide your ends into the welts as you're knitting it. So on the first welt section, you can hide, let's go. Here you can hide your 2 welt colors in there, and then for the following 2 welts, you actually have 3 ends from the color before and the 2 colors of the welt. You can knit over them as you're going to hide them in. Then when I finished and I went to sew in all my ends, I had my little sewing needle. I was like, put this away. Get out your crochet hook, because all of the ends were just bordering on welts. So all I did was I stuck my crochet hook inside here and I popped it down and I grabbed onto the end and I used a crochet hook to pull it through. You guys, I didn't have to weave in a single end. They are all happily hiding inside of the welts, and I think that is incredible. As for these guys, I decided not to do the weave and Steven. I mentioned last week that my shawlography, I did do the weave and Steven, and I feel like they kind of work their way out and poke out. So what I'm gonna do is, because of this I cord on the end, I'm just going to take a needle afterwards and put them through the I cord, which is what I did with a few of the ends here. I just used my crochet hook again, stuck my crochet hook up the I cord, grabbed it, pulled it down. And I feel like an important thing to do when you're weaving in ends, if you're gonna do something like that, except for the welt section, didn't really matter, but here you bring it down in one direction and then pull it back up in the other direction, like make it go over a bar of a stitch, and then pull it back down in the other direction, because then there's no way that's gonna go anywhere. It really, really secures it well, because if you just have it going in one direction and you stretch your garment, that stitch can come out, but if it's going like that, when you pull it, it's not going anywhere. It's really secure in there. Okay, do I have anything else to chat about this? I think that's all I have to talk about Clue 2. Let me know in the comments how you're going, if you're participating. If you're not participating, are you just watching because you're curious and you want to see what it looks like? I used to do that for sure. So the shawlography was a couple of years ago, but ever since, I've been always trying to, I always watch other people's videos, and I definitely always watch his videos because I always love to see where it's going. I just realized that my, this is I think it's like a cosmetic bag. It's got, unfortunately, like a nylon lining, but I've been using this as a project bag, and check that out. Where's my blue? It's not quite the same blues, but I even feel, is there any purple in here? Oh, maybe there's no purple, but how appropriate that my bag matches my project. Yeah, so let me know down below where you're at if you're participating. Did you struggle like I did with that eyelet section, or did any of the scallops give you problems? Even though, the other ones didn't, for some reason one was just really getting to you. Yeah, it's nice to know that you're not alone. Okay, just a little bit of a life update because I have a little bit of extra time to chat. You may have noticed that I have a little bit of a color pop on my glasses here. It's actually tape. My glasses have just broken, so I have to order new glasses. I feel like it's been a while that I've had these, so I guess I'm due. But yeah, they just kind of cracked a little bit, and then, so unfortunately I'm at the age where I feel like I'm doing this to read and putting them on for distance. I've always had them for distance, but as you get older, your close eyesight kind of weakens. So the last time I went to the optometrist, I asked her, can I have nothing put on the bottom so that I'm able to read? But she said, oh no, she gave me the test. She goes, no, you don't need it. But as a result, I'm not gonna do it now because it's broken. I'm constantly putting my glasses on top of my head, and I think that's stretching out the bars. And then not only that, but they often will just fall off my head altogether. So yeah, they finally broke, and I've got a lovely piece of, what's that called? Wabi tape? Anyways, this cute tape that my daughters got for something that they were working on. I popped it on there, so time to get another pair of glasses. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with Clearly contacts again. They have some very reasonably priced glasses. If you know of anywhere else, let me know in the comments. My eldest daughter just got back from a 3-month trip to Europe. I haven't mentioned anything about it because my husband said, oh, don't say anything, because he was paranoid about, you know, how those people call you and pretend that they're your kid. So he's like, you know, don't put it out there that our daughter's away, even though she's 19. But yeah, so I didn't say anything, but she's been gone on this amazing trip with her best friend. They mostly have been in France, in Paris, and down in kind of like the Nice area and in the mountains. And then she also went to Spain and Italy and the Netherlands, and she also went to Tunisia. So she's so lucky because as you may know, I was a flight attendant and I still have my passes. So she was able to use the passes to go on the trip, and she was very lucky because it is standby. She got on all the flights, so that was really nice. And not only that, but her best friend that she went with is French, and her mom had contacts everywhere. So at first they were like, no, we want to go in Airbnbs, and you know, they've been having so much fun looking at Airbnbs online. They said, no, Mom, we don't want to stay with your friends. And finally, after they'd been there for a few days, they called back their mom and said, can we please have the details? So they've basically been staying for free accommodation almost the whole time. So yeah, they're just so lucky. And the trip to Tunisia was her best friend's grandma was from there, and she wanted to take them there. So she got to see camels and dunes and a coliseum. Apparently there are 3 coliseums. One of them is in Tunis, I believe the place is called. So yeah, she got to really brush up on her French, and she's finally back, so that's really fun. And an update with my other daughter, not this past weekend, but the one before, we went to the Sunshine Coast, and she had her nationals for dancing, and her 16 and under group won the whole thing, and also the opens age group won the whole thing. So that was just really impressive and fun to watch. Yeah, always a good time watching the girls dance. And I think that's all that I have to chat about. So thank you so much for watching, if you made it all the way to the end. And again, let me know how you're going. Are you happy with how it looks? Are you happy with how it's going? I think it's really cool. It's always really fun, regardless of how crazy it can end up looking. It's always a good time, you know, except for when you're ripping stuff back. That's not really fun. But otherwise, I'm having heaps of fun, and I'm very excited for it to be finished. So let me know down below how you're going. And I look forward to talking to you again next week. So surely this will be done. I'll have Clue 2 done, because it's, now that I'm back on track, I feel like it's gonna be an easy go. Touch wood, because, you know, that's what I thought was scallops. But anyways, that's not gonna happen again. It's all gonna go smooth sailing. And I'm so excited to see what Clue 3 is gonna be. And I will chat to you next Saturday. So thanks again for watching. Give me a like if you liked the video, and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. I'll talk to you next time. Thank you.